Good morning, Unity of Phoenix. How are you doing this morning? You look all festive out there. Let's stand up. It's that time of the morning. Let's stand up and sing Good Morning World as we greet this beautiful, glorious day. Good morning, world. Good morning, universe. I'm on my way to a wondrous day. I'm ready now for great and glorious things. And I'm excited. Great things are coming my way. Here comes the sun up in the sky. Here comes a bluebird passing by. And all the world awaits to say, may joy be yours today. Now let me hear ya. Good morning, world. Good morning, universe. I'm on my way to a wondrous day. I'm ready now for great and glorious things. And I'm excited. Great things are coming my way. Here comes the sun up in the sky. Here comes a bluebird passing by. And all the world awaits to say, may joy be yours today. Here we go. Good morning, world. Good morning, universe. I'm on my way to a wondrous day. I'm ready now for great and glorious things. And I'm excited. Great things are coming my way. Here comes the sun up in the sky. Here comes a bluebird passing by. And all the world awaits to say, may joy be yours today. Woo! Yeah. Y'all are sounding great out there. Now let's join in singing Angels We Have Heard on High.
So while you're still standing, why don't you turn to someone to your right or to your left and say good morning.
Woo! Please be seated. Good morning. Happy holidays to you all. Welcome to Unity of Phoenix. My name is Richard Maraj, and I'm the senior minister here. Great to see you all. Welcome, everybody.
And my name is Jimmy Scott, pastoral care minister here, and my pleasure to be here with you this morning as well, welcoming you to Unity of Phoenix. You know, Unity is a worldwide organization that is based on the practical teachings of Jesus Christ. And we've been doing that now for right around 125, 126 years. A lot of truth principles taught over that period of time. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
All right. Thanks, man. Right now, we want to extend a special welcome to anyone joining us for the first time. If you're here for the first time, would you stand up so we could just love you up and welcome you? We've got a flower and some information. First time is just stand. Keep standing. Stay standing. Woo! Great to see you all. Great to see everybody. Stay standing. So you've got a little welcome brochure, and in it there's a little voucher, and if you just fill it out, you can redeem it for two gifts. One is a CD of a previous service, and the other one is a little focus stone, which is a really cool and wonderful gift of our guests. Anybody from out of town? Anybody? Or everybody from in town? All right. Well, I guess everybody's from in town, so we're glad you came. And we hope you find today's service spiritually meaningful as well as uplifting. And we would love to meet you after service, and we would love it if you join us for fellowship and refreshments out in the courtyard after service. So let's hear it one more time for our first-time guest. Thank you, guys.
So just a couple of announcements. One, I want to give you a huge thank you for all of you who participated in our Palomino Angel Project. We were able to help over 360 students, about 15 teachers, handed out about $13,000 worth of food certificates. So thank you so much for your generosity. And then, you know, Christmas is one of my favorite times of year. So today we've got a special gift for you. You can go over to the administration building, and right in the lobby there, you will see Santa. And you can take a picture on Santa's knee. I live for that every year, believe me. So I think that pretty much does it for our announcement. And now's that time in our service for a time of prayer and meditation. So if you have your cell phones with you, I want to encourage you to place those either on silence or vibrate, and Reverend Tina will lead us in our meditation.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. I can feel God's mighty power and God's grace. I can feel the rush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place.
Surely the presence of the Lord is in this place. Just invite you to feel into that reality for a few moments as you quietly get settled into your seat and allow yourself to get comfortable. Take just a moment or two to set a conscious intention of quieting your mind and just mentally letting go of all the busyness of the holiday season, the busyness of your life. And just open a space for quietness, and a space for calmness and for meditation and for prayer. So as we begin, I invite you to take a deep, refreshing breath. Just let it all out. And then in the quietness of your own being, just remember those powerful words of the Master Teacher. Peace. Be still. Peace. Be still. During this specific holiday season, it's an excellent time for us to be mindful of our world, of the chaos and confusion that takes place in the outer world and in our lives sometimes. And as we are mindful of that, we can remember that by turning within, we find the peace, we find the joyfulness, we find the true gems of Christmas. And so today, we give thanks for this blessed time. In the name and through the nature of the living Christ. Amen.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And leave us not in temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever.
Wow! Wasn't that one of the most amazing things you ever heard? One more time, Nicole Pesci. Woo! I saw Nicole at a concert last year at the Herberger, and she did that, and I thought, we're going to get her at Unity of Phoenix. And it's been exactly a year because I'm going back to the same concert to see her tomorrow night with Jeffrey Hattrick. They're going to do a performance, so one more time. Can we hear her for her? She's so good. So good. Cool. Good stuff. So good morning again, everyone. And a welcome and a shout out to everybody who tunes in and watches us online. So how many people here have ever had a really tough week where things just didn't go your way at all? Anybody ever had one of those? Or anybody ever been so busy and have so much stuff on your plate at Christmas that you weren't having fun? You just felt maxed out and stressed out. Anybody feel maxed out and stressed out? How many people have ever just been in a funk and felt a little down? You had a hard time getting out of your funk. Anybody ever been in a funk? So I have been in a funk. And it hasn't just been for a week, it's been for a couple of weeks. Just feeling out of sorts, just not feeling a sense of peace, just not really feeling very calm and centered and joyful. And it really isn't anything, but then last week some stuff happened that really didn't help the cause. And, first it started, I cracked a tooth. I actually cracked 2 teeth, and I resist going to the dentist, so that wasn't that much fun. And then after 16 years of owning my car, I decided I want to lease a new car. So I got this great lease deal, but the thing is I need hand controls put in my car. And they said, we'll give you the car and you have to return it in the exact condition. But to put hand controls in a car, you got to drill a hole or two. And they said, well, I'd be liable for whatever expense that was. I said, well, how much would that be? They said, we don't know. Could be hundreds, could be thousands, but you'll get that at the end. I was thinking, that's not a surprise I'm really looking for. And so that didn't really feel good. And so it looks like the deal might fall through. And then I was ordering an airline ticket online. And I'd gotten it all done and ready to pay for it, and I was trying to put this voucher thing, and I couldn't figure it out, so I called the airline to help me with the online thing to save the money, and by the time, it took so long, so by the time I hit the thing, it said the tickets were gone, and so when I went back on, the tickets were double the price, and on far less convenient days, so that didn't really thrill me that much, but the biggest challenge was a friend of mine, Mike, who we've been friends for 17 years. He lives in Raleigh, North Carolina, where I served and left 15 years ago. And for the last 15 years, we have a boys' meeting. We have a goal of seeing an NBA game in every NBA city. We've been doing that for years. We were supposed to go 2 weeks ago to Atlanta to watch the Lakers. And he called in a week before and said, look, my twin brother had a heart issue, and I just don't want to leave him right now. And so the brother went into the hospital, and they thought he was fine, and he went home, and he had another heart attack, and he had to put him in the ICU, and there was some damage, and they thought they could put a pacemaker in. And a day before the pacemaker surgery, he had a major stroke, and he was on life support, and last Friday afternoon, Mike had to make the tough decision to take his twin brother off life support, and he passed. And so I've been really just struggling, feeling sadness for my dear friend. And as busy as Christmas is, I am going to go see him and spend some time with him this week. And so today's talk is called Christmas Peace. And yesterday, in preparing for the talk, and I'm not feeling Christmassy, and I ain't feeling a lot of peace. So yesterday, I was not really feeling like writing a talk about Christmas peace. I kept trying and thinking, and I wasn't coming with anything. So I called Richard Rogers. I actually texted him. I said, my talk's on Christmas peace, help. I need some ideas. I need a point. I need a clue. So Richard didn't know everything that was going on, so I called him, and first thing out of his mouth, he said, I don't think peace is possible. I'm thinking, brother, you ain't helping me at all. And actually, the talk was really brilliant and insightful. It was really wonderful. But, it kind of didn't resonate with me. And I really appreciated him taking the time to give me some ideas. And so I just went back to work. And about 10 or 15 minutes later, I got a text that said, hey, got another idea. Are you open for it? And I was really open for it. And the words came out of his mouth. He said, it's called Lessons from Living in a Manger. And I don't remember exactly what he said after that, but I was so inspired. You just have something hit you. It hit me, and it just triggered something in me. And I immediately went to the nativity scene. And I started thinking deeply about that word, lessons living in a manger. And I realized Jesus was born in a manger. And we don't always stop to think, but a manger is a trough where animals feed. A manger is not a warm and fuzzy place. It is not a very comfortable place at all. It's hard. It's made of a stone or sometimes wood. It is not the ideal place for a child to be born. It is not an ideal place for a mother to give birth. It is not an ideal place for a father to help his wife give birth. The conditions when Jesus was born was in a manger, which was not the best and ideal place. To me, a manger represents a place or a situation or circumstance in your life that is not ideal, that is not something we want, that is not something that ideally feels great. How many people have some sort of manger-like, unideal situation going on in your life? You know, about 7 of us. Fabulous. I thought it would be 8, but I'm glad it's only 7. So we all have mangers, and whether it is a relationship that just ended, or whether it is a family conflict, or whether it is the loss of a job, or whether it was a car accident, or whether it's a health diagnosis that was unexpected, you know, whether it is memories of some unhappy Christmas past or some painful things in our family, whether it's the anxiety that we're having or have to make a difficult decisions that we really don't want to make, or dealing with an addiction. You know, every single one of us is going through some manger-like experience that isn't ideal, where we're not feeling much peace, where we're not feeling a lot of joy, where we're not feeling that Christmassy. And so today, the message, Christmas Peace, is also entitled, Finding Peace in Your Manger. And it is inspired by the funk that I'm going through and the brilliance of Richard Rogers. And so how do you find peace in the manger? How do you find peace in a situation that isn't ideal or comfortable or the one you wanted to experience? And the first thing is that peace absolutely begins with the ability to accept yourself and accept whatever you're going through and find peace right there. You know, sometimes, I'll tell you, if we're having a difficult time in life, I will guarantee you it is because we're having a hard time accepting something. Accepting something about ourselves, accepting something that happened, accepting something that someone did, someone said. You know, we fight against things that happen. We fight against who we are. We push against life and resist. And that causes the greatest lack of peace in our lives. It's not just the situation, but it's how we are resisting and fighting against it. You know, when I look at the Christmas story, and when I look at Joseph and Mary, they are amazing embodiments of people who lived acceptance. Let's go to Mary first. The angel Gabriel came to her and said, you're going to give birth to the Messiah. And she's saying, hey, I'm a virgin. How is this even possible? She was troubled. But in time, she came to a place of acceptance that she was called to do something greater than she thought she could do. Joseph was told and guided to marry her, and even though she was pregnant, they hadn't been together, he wanted to divorce her. But he came to a sense of acceptance that this was his to do, to love in a bigger way than he ever thought that he could love. And then not only did they both individually accept what they were here to do and who they came to be, then they had to travel back to their home of Bethlehem from Nazareth. Anybody want to guess how far that distance was? Okay, I'll tell you. From Nazareth to Bethlehem, 120 miles. I want you to think about that. A pregnant young girl with her husband and a donkey had to travel 120 miles. They just accepted it and did it. And then at the end of it, there was no room at the inn. I don't know about you, but after I travel 120 miles on a donkey, I need a bed and room service and a massage. I mean, we gloss over this, but look at the level of acceptance. Look at the acceptance. They accepted that they were here to do something bigger than they both thought they could do. Then they accepted that a long journey was a part of this experience of giving birth to something greater than they both even thought was possible. They were in a manger experience, not comfortable, not easy. But how'd they find peace? Acceptance. They accepted who they were, they accepted the condition, and they accepted the great thing they were here to do. So I ask you, what manger situation are you struggling accepting in your life? And can you, like Joseph and Mary, find a place of acceptance, a place of peace, knowing that it is what is yours to do. It is a part of who you came here to be, and it is a part of the difference that you came to make, and it is a part of the great thing that you're here to give birth to. You know, I read an article by a monk, and he was saying that for peace to happen, it needs acceptance, and it also needs forgiveness. Because a part of acceptance allows us to let go of the things that we often hold on to. Because we tend to hold on to the pain, hold on to the regret, hold on to mistakes. And acceptance actually not only brings peace to the situation, but allows us to forgive and let go and release the past, release the pain, and release the mistakes. I mean, if you look at Scrooge, one of the things about Scrooge, his father sent him away to boarding school. He was a lonely kid. The only solace he found was the love of his sister Fanny, who ended up dying in childbirth. And then when he got engaged, his fiancée Belle left him because he focused too much on money rather than the relationship. And he let that bitterness, he ended up holding on to it. And it closed off his heart. And it not only didn't bring him peace, but it created a very unhappy, isolated life. Same thing with the Grinch. Went through stuff and pick and closed off his heart because he held on to stuff. And in both situations, acceptance is the first step to forgiving and letting go of the past. Letting go of what people might have said or done and to release it to bring us a sense of peace. You know, every single one of us has some manger, some disappointment, some regret, some hurt, some mistreatment at the hands of someone else. And if we really want to find a sense of peace, that we need to find a place of acceptance. And we need to forgive and let go of the past. The second way to find peace in the manger is through stillness and silence. You know, when we're unhappy, the way we try to get ourselves happy is by doing more stuff. You know, think if we do more, if we achieve more, if we buy more, if we attend more parties. We think busy is more, better is more, faster is going to make us happier and more peaceful. And I thought it was really interesting that Socrates, who was born 500 years before Jesus, warned us. He said this. He said, "Beware of the barrenness that comes with a busy life." I enjoy being busy. Busy is fun, but there's a point at which busyness stops us from feeling our sadness and our pain. There's a point at which busyness makes us disconnected with the truth of who we are. There's a point at which busyness kind of denies us a level of peace and real deeper fulfillment because we're always focusing on the outer things in life. You know, I don't think it's any coincidence that there was no room at the inn, because the Christ can't be born in a crowded place. It can't be born in a crowded mind or crowded heart filled with pain and regret or worry. That the Christ had to be born in the open, had to be born in the stillness, had to be born in the quiet and the silence. You know, whenever you look at any transformation or change or improvement, that is always, the transformation happens in a place that you can't see. It happens in the invisible realm. It happens on the inside. Like even with a seed, you plant a seed in the ground, you can't see what actually happens inside that seed to make something grow. With the cocoon and a butterfly, you can't see what actually happens inside, but something in that still, quiet place, in that invisible realm, you tap into that invisible realm, and there's a wisdom, there is a genius, there's inspiration, and a blueprint for the greatness of your life to spring forth. But it can't be done in the busyness. It can only be done in the quietness. Sometimes we think that busyness, loudness, and doingness is the key to a happier life, and I would suggest that it's more about quietness, stillness, and beingness. So often Jesus said things like, "Come apart a while and rest. Enter into thine inner chamber. Be still and listen to the still small voice of God. Be still and know that I am God. Every single thing invites us into a quiet place where the wisdom, where the potential, where the abundance, and the allness of God lies. You know, my favorite line by Creflo Dollar, I quote it a lot because I just love it so much. He says, "The poor go without, but the wealthy go within." And so sometimes when we look on the outside for more gifts, more busyness, we think that's going to make us better. The truth is, the only answer is by going within. I don't think it's a coincidence that Mary and Joseph had to go back home for the birth to take place. And every one of us is being called to go back home to that source and that spirit within us, to connect with it, to open ourselves. So that's where the Christ is born. That's where greater joy is born. That's where healing is born. That's where transformation is born. And my question for you, and there's nothing wrong with the busyness of the season, it's fun. But the question is, among the busyness, will you take time for some stillness, to quiet your mind, to be in that open air and allow the Christ in you to be born, to rise up to greater love, to greater joy, and a greater fulfillment in your life? Acceptance, stillness, and the final one is trust. You know, it's interesting that even though Jesus was born in a manger, far in a remote place, in a condition that wasn't great, what I found amazing was that the wise men still found him. The shepherds still found him. And sometimes we think we're in a remote situation that isn't looking good, that our good won't find us. But you know what? Your good will always find you. No matter what remote situation is, your good will find you. No matter how humble your beginnings, no matter how financial struggle you might be in, no matter how distant you might have to travel, no matter what's going on in your life, your good will find you. They found Jesus in the manger. Your good will never be hidden from you. It can never be taken away from you. Your good will find you. One of my favorite Christmas stories, and I've shared before, is about Robert May. And Robert May, as a child, was small and he got picked on a lot. He didn't have the ideal childhood, especially with his friends and kids at school. So he grew up and he became a copywriter, and he worked at Montgomery Ward. And he got married to his love of his life, Evelyn, and they had a little baby named Barbara. And so things are going well. And after the first year, things are going really, really well. And then it was found out that Evelyn had cancer. And over the next 3 years, she spent the majority of the time in the hospital, and he had been taking care of his little baby. And then when she was 4 in 1938, this was during the time of the Depression, his wife Evelyn passed away and left him alone with his 4-year-old baby. And he, going through his own grief, was trying to figure out how does he bring comfort to her while he's in pain and take care of her. And so the money was all depleted, and he ended up living in a two-room apartment in Chicago. And so Christmas is there, and he couldn't figure out what the heck. He couldn't buy her anything, so he just made up these goofy stories about this little animal. And he'd embellish it more, and he'd keep telling the same story, and it grew and got different. And then he wrote it down in a little book and actually presented it to her, and that was his gift to her for Christmas. Well, somehow somebody, the general manager at Montgomery Ward, got wind of this book, and he sold the rights for a nominal fee to Montgomery Ward for this book. And what they were going to do is give this book to every kid that came to see a child. You know how many books they gave away that first year? Over 1 million books. And he had given away the rights to this book. And then they next year, because it was so successful, a major publisher wanted to purchase the rights. And in an unprecedented move, the CEO of Montgomery Ward gave the rights back to Robert May. And Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer was a multi-million-dollar seller that brought him incredible, incredible success. And the thing I love about that story is there he was in the midst of his manger, losing his wife, alone in a 2-room apartment in Chicago with his daughter, not knowing what to do. And all he kept doing was doing what he needed to do, to accept this is what he needed to do, and with as much love continue caring and supporting for his daughter. You know, I love the scripture in the book of Judges, chapter 18, verse 2 to 6. And the Danites are going on a big mission, and he talks to a young Levite priest. They're looking for advice, and he says, "Inquire of God that we may know whether the mission we are undertaking will succeed." And the young priest says, "Go in peace. The mission you are on is under the eye of the Lord." Go in peace. The mission you are on is under the eye of the Lord. Think of a manger situation in your life right now. And would you be willing to open a space to feel peace about it because your mission is under the eye of the Lord? That whatever you're going through right now is under the eye of the Lord, so you can just allow yourself to feel peace about it. My mission is under the eye of the Lord. Together, my mission is under the eye of the Lord. Take a deep breath. I go in peace. Together, I go in peace. Deep breath. I trust that my good will find me. Together, I trust that my good will find me. Deep breath. God means this for good. Together, God means this for good. Deep breath. And so the question is, can you trust that the manger and that through that, your good will find you? Let me ask you a question. How many people can remember what you were worried about or stressing about 5 years ago on this date? Anybody remember? How about what you were stressing or freaking about 2 years ago on this date? Anybody? How many people remember what you're stressing about today? Anybody? Everybody. And here's my point, is whatever you're stressing and worrying about today, a year from now or 2 years from now, you won't even remember it. So do you think, based on that truth, and it's a fact, that you could find peace right now, knowing that the thing that you worried about 5 years ago resolved itself? Could you trust that the thing you're worrying about will resolve itself because your life is under the eye of the Lord? Are you willing to go in peace and trust that your good will find you? You know, life isn't easy, and Christmas sometimes is not an easy time for folks. There are challenges. We have mangers of all kinds, family and financial and health. But my point I'm trying to make today is to find peace while you're in your manger. Don't wait till it's over to let yourself feel joy. Feel peace now by finding acceptance of who you are, what is before you, and the things that you're here to do. Your long journey, like that long trip they didn't necessarily want to take, is just a part of the experience. Embrace it, accept it, forgive and let go of what you need to. And then take time in the stillness and silence to let the love and the wisdom of God be birthed and expanded into you. Let it guide you and lead you. And finally, right where you are, trust that your good will find you. Your good will find you because your mission is under the eye of the Lord. And that is how we find peace in our manger. And that is how we experience Christmas peace. God bless you all.
Thank you, Richard. So now's the time in our service for our offertory. And our offertory affirmation is: divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Will you join me in affirming that together? Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Amen.
Nicole Pesci. Woo, woo. Wow. Wow. So we just want to say to our first-time guests, hope you enjoyed today's service. And we would love to see you come back. We'd love to meet you after service. And please join us for refreshments again. Don't forget to fill out your little form and get your 2 gifts, the CD as well as the Focus Stone. So thanks for being here. We really appreciate it. Join us Wednesday evening. We do our candlelighting services, of course, Christmas Eve. It'll be 4, 6, and 8 o'clock. But we have an early one for anybody who travels or anybody who just wants to beat the rush. So 7 p.m. right here in the sanctuary, there is the candlelighting service for anyone who is traveling or would like to just attend early. As a reminder, each week this is a prayer ministry. We don't want anyone leaving with a heavy heart. So if you get a lot going on, please seek out one of our prayer chaplains. They're available in the sanctuary, and you can see them outside in the courtyard, throughout our courtyard. And each of them will listen to you lovingly. They'll hold a positive prayer, and they will keep it absolutely confidential. Let's hear it for our chaplains. Thank you so much for your service. And now let's welcome our beautiful, wonderful kids as we sing, We Are Walking in the Light.
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. We are walking in the joy, in the joy, in the joy. We are walking in the joy of God. In the joy, 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 in the joy of God. We are walking in the light, in the love, in the love. We are walking in the love of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God. We are walking in the joy, in the joy, in the joy. We are walking in the joy of God. In the joy, 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 in the joy of God.
Welcome our kids. Great to see you guys. Woo, woo. All right. So, Reverend Tina, what did the kids learn today in Sunday school?
Well, they've been learning about the birth of Jesus.
All right.
It's Christmas season. So.
All right.
All right. Anybody want to share?
Anybody want to share? All right. We got some.
You want me to
That's
come back
okay.
to you?
We'll come back.
I'll come back. Okay.
So today in Uniteens we talked about affirmative prayer, and I have an example of one. So the future of God within me makes my future full of success and good fortune.
All right. Very good.
God is in us everywhere.
All right. Very good. Okay, one more. Anybody else want to share? All right, here we go.
Jesus wasn't born in Baltimore. He was born in a staple.
Did you say Baltimore? Did you say Baltimore? Oh, okay. Oh, not at the Biltmore. That is even funnier than Baltimore. Anyway.
That was great.
That was fabulous. Oh, God. That just made my day right there. We want to bless you guys. You guys are so adorable. We just love you so much. We love having your light and your energy here. So you ready for a blessing? Because it's coming at you. Ready? Together. You are a perfect child of God. And God and I love you just the way you are, even if you're born in Baltimore or the Biltmore. I love it. So now our kids are going to lead us in our prayer protection. Let's follow their lead together.
The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is.
Amen. We love you guys so much. Thanks for being here, guys. You guys are adorable. All right. Go safely, kids. Good seeing you. All right, everybody, let's all rise now as we close with our song of peace. Good job.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
God bless you, everybody. Have a good and a wonderful week.